Good morning, Atheists. D-Roy Cruz here, your Life Applications Officer. Good morning, and this is a video I meant to do last night, and I didn't set up my phone right, and it got destroyed. So, every day of my life, things are happening every time I step out into the work world. Things are happening, and I guess atheists want me to feel like or think that I just don't know how to deal with it. That I need to grow a pair. That I need to suck it up and understand that this is the new America. This is the new world. This is the new Utopia, or something of that nature. But you don't understand that, okay, let's say we're all having fun and us Christians are the only ones that are criticizing. We're sitting back. We're standing back there complaining, and you know what I'm saying? We're pointing the finger and we're saying that this is wrong and this is right, and who are we to judge, right? Okay. But when things go down, okay, when, relationships don't work, when it's the liberal, so to speak, person that started to fight, when I only want the right to be me. And yeah, I understand that you want the right to be you, but when I say I want the right to be me, I don't go to work every day and beat people over the head with my Bible. But like I said in the last video, people will go to work and they'll make everybody change everything for them. Okay? They'll make everybody change the very words that come out of their mouth. You go to work today, you have to be very careful what comes out of your mouth in a public place. I mean, very careful. I was talking to a guy not too long ago, and we were talking about women. And some middle-aged lady that was around the corner, supposed to be typing at her computer. And we were just being sarcastic, And this lady made a comment. Now, I could have got offended. But I figure, she's going to turn it and flip it and say that I was being offensive. That was, But I made a comment about short women because short women don't date short men. It's a fact. I mean, don't get me wrong. You meet one small woman out of 100 that'll date a short man. Okay? And a friend of mine, he started it because he was teasing me about it. And he was telling me to get with these short girls and that. And I says, you know better than that, dude. I think you and so-and-so make a good couple and all that kind of stuff. And I let him know we're short women have short women syndrome. Now, it's okay to tell a man he got short man syndrome. But I'm letting him know what's wrong with short men, especially short women, short black women. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm black. And I'm suffering this nonsense. Short black women. I made a comment. And it wasn't even an off-color comment. It was just simple. And this white lady around the corner, it ain't her business. Okay? I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about my women, how they act. okay, and this woman around the corner, because before we got on that subject, we were talking about the Bible. We were quoting something, and this was another thing. People don't want you talking about the Bible in public. You can talk about your new age. You can talk about, you know, you can talk about who you slept with last night and how good it was, and you can talk about, why someone's an idiot because they don't like football. You can say a lot of things in public, but you can't talk about the Bible. You can't talk about women. Men can't talk about women. Women can talk about men, but men cannot talk about women. They cannot say anything negative about women in public, okay? Yesterday, like I said, I'm not an evangelist at all. I don't preach the gospel or anything like that. That's why I call myself a life applications officer, because when it comes down to sitting down, I got trained a couple times as a president, a leader of men. And Promise Keepers, if anybody remembers good old Promise Keepers, offered a training packet, and I got trained on some things in that. I also got trained in my church, on some biblical things, and I became the president of the men's ministry. I was the president of the men's ministry for 3 years before I moved out here, and I'm really hoping that they don't think that I just wanted to leave and go somewhere else because, they changed things. They did change things around without sitting down and having a meeting about it first. They did just flip everything around, but that's not why I left. I left because I screwed up, and anyone that knows me, I think my pastor understands that now. I think many people that I went to church with understood that I left because I screwed up. I left because everything coming together from my job and, getting back and forth to work and all like that. It's just better at the moment that I live in this nonsense. Okay? I'm ready to go back, though. I'm ready to go back, either go back or give me the best of out here. I'm telling you, now I understand why white people move to the suburbs. I really do. And I've only been away from the city for probably about 20 years. And I used to waste gas to come down here and just enjoy the nightlight, just enjoy, man, I'm like, man, all the pretty women are in the city, and wow, all the nightlights and the beauty and all the shopping, everything's in the city. It would be so wonderful to live in the city. And now I end up in the city by accident because of my job and because for a little bit there I was homeless. And I ended up in the city. And just since 2015, I've gotten sick of it already. I mean, I understand why white people leave the city and move to the suburbs and leave this nonsense out here to those that are dumb enough to suffer it. Okay, and I'm probably going to move back to the suburbs. I don't know if I'm going to go way into the suburbs like I was, where, you got to like drive 5 miles out of the way for every little thing you want, but I think I will move out of the city and find me a nice little peaceful spot away from the nonsense, away from the noise, away from all these weirdos that are just there to show off because that's where everybody's at. Everybody goes into the busy city. And so there's people that love to come to the city that want to, look here. Somebody can walk past you, okay? And everybody has a message. They have their own gospel. Now, the Christians might go buy a plot of ground for a day, rent a plot of ground, and, put banners up and say, hey, come here and ask me about Jesus, or may I pray for you, or something like that. And atheists get offended. All you got to do is walk past. Don't stop. But no, atheists rather get offended. Yeah, I'll come over and talk to you, you mother effer. Blah, 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 go to hell, But it really helps people. And on the flip side of that, there's a guy that walks past me every day with a green cape. I'm afraid to death of the dude. He actually has a girlfriend in my place of business. I'm like, oh my God, he has a girlfriend? I thought he was gay. Walking around with that gay smile on his face and his green cape. Like every day is St. Patrick's Day, 12 months out of a year is St. Patrick's Day. 12 months out of a year, 31 days of each month. It's St. Patrick's Day to this guy. He's walking around in a green cape like Batman or Satan, one of the two. Okay? And one of the officers, they told me, he says, hey, I had a talk with the dude. The dude is out there. That's the way he put it. The dude's out there, man. He said, I can't believe he has a girlfriend here. I no wonder white people move to the suburbs. God almighty. It's just things you don't see in the suburbs, man. People don't waste your time. And this guy's, I don't know, he looks like he's in his 30s, middle 30s. And we got them college girls out there. We got a ton of college girls out there. You got to be careful. This guy walking up and down your street, he thinks he's some kind of caper or something. He thinks he's, I don't know, green man, green cape man. I don't know what he thinks. But the atheists, would say, who are you to judge? You should get your head out of your butt crack and, you're right. I should get my head out of my butt crack and move my head back to the suburbs is what I should do. Because when I was living out there in the suburbs, even the ghetto part of the suburbs, I don't see a lot of this mess I'm seeing here in Pittsburgh. My God! Yesterday, a woman from my job, one of my co-workers, we were having a talk. And like I said, I'm not an evangelist. And I don't preach. I'm not, and I was very honest with her about what I don't know, but what I do know. And she, because we were talking about heaven, she went off, like, oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, I just can't wait to go. When she started, going mentally ill with it, oh, I just can't wait. I think it's this, and I think it's that, and I think it's this, and I think it's that. And I told her, I says, it's neither. It's neither. And you're not going, heaven is the place, and then she decided to tell me, well, heaven, no one says that anybody's going to heaven. A lot of people believe they're going to heaven, and heaven is up, and all this stuff. I says, you're right. They don't know. Okay? Because heaven is the place of God and the Godhead. Okay? We don't go to heaven. We're only going up there for a moment. And then we're going to come back here in the War of Armageddon to take over the earth. I'm wanting to see. I want to see what kind of argument you're gonna put forth then when we come down here and kick your butt. But I let her know the true new world that's coming is where you really, really, really want to thank God for, and you really want to read about that in the scriptures. Well, obviously she didn't read about the Bible. She don't read the Bible, and she doesn't agree with her own church, which is Catholic. And I was shocked. Well, no, I shouldn't be shocked, because 95% out of every 100 Catholics don't believe half the stuff they stand there and bow to and eat crackers to, do communion with, go to confession to, practice mass, whatever. They don't believe half of it. Okay? And I let her know it's not Catholic. The Catholics are wrong. Then she started going other places, and she, I didn't just come right out and say the Catholics were wrong, because I knew she was Catholic. I didn't want to, offend her. But I did anyway. She did all the talking. All I did was say one thing. I know. I know. That's all I said, to make a long story short. I said, I know. We live in a world today where it's wrong to say, you know. It's wrong for the Republicans to say that they know. It's wrong for a black man to say, I know. It's wrong for, a white man to say, I know. It's wrong for a man, period, to say, I know. A woman can say, I know, and get billions of subscribers. But one thing I do know, one thing I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'll bet my life on it, is that our human existence is not in the hands of science, evolution, your doctor, biology. Well, biology has to do with animals. Well, no. No, that's right. Biology. I could have just said it all in one word. Our human existence is not in the hands of science. Atheists want to act like science is their God. That's the God they bow to. It's all about science. Like nobody before militant atheism ever studied science. Like Christians don't study science. Like, nobody studies science but them. I think that's another one of your tricks, atheists. Okay? But it's wrong for anyone to say, I know. I'm sorry. I know. And atheists say, well, we don't claim to know. We don't claim to know everything like the Christians do. And, who knows what truth is? Who knows what God? Who knows if there's a God? Who knows? Blah, 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 blah. Really? Everything is done by doing your homework. The only problem with homework is when you rationalize. Remember when you was in school and you would study something and you were confused about it, and you can't keep, you only got so many days before the tests. And so you needed, you knew that once you get this done, you figure, well, I'll at least make a C, or maybe I'll do better on the other tests. If I fail this test, I'm allowed to make a C. And if I make a C, that won't be the original grade that goes on my report card because I'm good at everything else. So my main grade will be a B. Okay? So you were studying this, whether it was science or math or whatever it was. To me, it was math. I suck at math. If there's two things that we could get rid of in this country, it's pit bulls and math. Okay? But no, I mean, I use math every day, don't get me wrong. I mean, I sell tickets, I hate counting people's money. I hate trying to add up my own money. I just like to say, that's probably about what I should be making and go do my thing, and then I do the math when I'm down to my last dollar. Then I start doing the math to see if I can count every penny to make every penny count because I'm down to my last dollar, But but the thing is, it's wrong to say that I know. And I do know. And the problem with some people who know is that they rationalize the answer. Well, if you're studying for your next math test or your next science test or social studies test, you might look at that and you might say, all right, well, there's 4 answers that I can use. So you pick one that you think might seem the most sophisticated, or one that maybe the other people are picking too. And you're not completely sure that is the answer. But you feel that is the answer that'll keep you from looking stupid, or that is the answer that will be closer to the right one because you don't know the right one. So here's one that's closest to it, or here's one that's more impressive. And that's the way some people learn truth. And, this woman I was talking to yesterday, she was also saying some things about what is and, in the Bible and what she's willing to accept. Well, listen. If you know the truth, you know the truth to your own hurt, your own disappointment. If you go to the doctors, like a friend of mine told me last night that his wife got diagnosed with cancer. Okay, you can tell yourself that I don't have cancer. The doctor's wrong. I don't have cancer. Okay? If you don't have cancer, then you should be able to heal yourself. If you don't have cancer, then you should be able to heal yourself. I didn't say ask God to heal you, because to ask God to heal you is something that assumes that you have something that needs to be healed. But no, I said heal yourself. Heal yourself. If you don't have cancer, you should be able to heal yourself. So, when you accept that you have cancer and it's spreading through your body, that is the hard truth. And you have to accept that truth even though you don't want to accept it. I can't believe I have cancer. I mean, I eat right, I live happy. Why would this happen to me? It's the hard truth. Well, whether things are good, bad, or evil, or whatever they be, they're the hard truth. The hard truth is, God is not coming back to just take everybody to heaven like this woman thought. Every good person goes to heaven. Well, if every good person goes to heaven, how come God didn't separate the evil Egyptians from the good Egyptians when his children were bound in slavery in Egypt? Obviously, Moses, the woman that posted herself as Moses' mother, was a good woman. And her maidservants that found Moses in the basket on the river Nile. These were good people. They had a good heart. And does Pharaoh get any credit for letting the children of Israel go? He didn't have to let them go. But God separated his people from the people that were not his people. God is coming back for his people. He's not coming back for everybody. I hate to tell this woman that. It's all through the Bible. Now, you're fine as long as you don't read the Bible. Don't go here. You might want to stay away from this. And I'm not a Calvinist. But I do know this. God is coming back for his people. Plain and simple. He's coming back for his people. Okay? That's not all humans. But his people. Out of all these other humans. He's coming back for his people. He's coming back for maybe the mentally ill, stupid, idiotic, okay, can't understand simple science, okay, liars, rapists, you know what I'm saying, committed more murders than any other institution in this country and other countries. They believe in a spaghetti monster. He's only coming back after half of these idiots. Because everybody believes in God. That don't make them Christian. That don't make them really become part of God's family. That doesn't make you a part of God's family because you believe in God. When you tell me that everybody has their own religion, like this woman told me, well, that means that you're just an agnostic, as atheists will call it. You don't really have a firm, founded belief in God and who God is and what he's all about. God is on a mission. That is why all these things are happening, because he promised in prophecy that these things would happen. And he's going to make sure that the prophecy isn't a lie. That is why the love of many is waxing cold out here. That is why we have all these false prophets. Okay? That is why the name of God is an ignorant word. It's a cuss word now. To say the word God in public. Okay? The only time you're allowed to say, oh my God, is when you say, oh my God. The only time when you're allowed to say Jesus is when you use it as a swear word. Somebody jump off the bridge, you can say, oh my God. But to say God is good, that's like calling somebody a nigger. To say God is good, that's like calling somebody a cracker. That's like laughing at somebody's cancer. Oh, look how fat you are. Look what your cancer did to you. Because you called God good. It's offensive to say the word God in a good sense. You're allowed to use God when you cuss. You're allowed to use God when you criticize God or show hate on God. Make jokes about God. You're not allowed to use God to tell who God is and how good He's done things in your life. You're not allowed to do that. That's where we're coming to. And these things are prophesied in Scripture. They are. Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. And there are many who go in by it, because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life. And there are few who find it. I like to believe that I found it. Now, atheists are so dumb and so childish, they'll say, you didn't find it. Well, if you say that, you need to tell me in here where I didn't find it, not in your little outside secular beliefs. Because this was the book that quoted it. You didn't quote it, they did. So, the answer is in here, just like I quoted it in here. Atheists don't seem to understand that. Whatever comes out of the Bible is translated by the Bible. Okay? You don't sit there and don't believe in the Bible. And then when someone quotes something out of the Bible, well, let me explain to you what you're talking about. No. If you needed to explain, if you could explain to me what I was talking about, you'd have been telling me what I'm talking about before I even opened up my mouth to talk about it. Said that pretty good. Let me read it one more time. Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. And there are many who go in by it. Atheists are just a group of people that are of a group of people that are of the world system. Everything from what we eat and drink, okay, to what we learn, to what we do. Everything from food to thought is becoming corrupt in this country, in this world. There's a destruction out there, and it's called the world system. Now, some atheists will call that conspiracy theory. And they'll, well, if I'm a conspiracy theorist, what's that make you? You need to show me the book that explains to us how this utopia of all these weird people that disagree with nature, that disagree with human nature, that disagree with their own human genetic makeup. You need to explain to me, how a world where we're about to listen to robots instead of people. Okay? Where everything is becoming animated in virtual reality. You need to explain to me how all this brings us into some daggone utopia. You can't. You can read books. But them books end up where? They're not prophecy. This says, this shall come to pass. And it did come to pass. And everything shows that it is coming to pass. But when you read a book about one of your favorite philosophers, what do you end up with? Oh, let us do this and let us do that this might happen, but there is no promise. This book right here offers promises. There is no promise of any life to come. There's speculation, but no promise. I would say more, but I want to close there because I got a lot more to do here. I didn't even get to my notes. God bless you. I'm D. Cruz, your Life Applications Officer. I will talk to you real soon. Lord willing. Only Lord willing.